Okay, right, straight back in. Let's try and go. 8 out of 8 wins for the youth matches. We are at 4 for 4 at the moment. We have had a couple of interesting ones. It was a little bit scary, a little bit, well, in the balance, I would say. At the start of this one, we managed to comfortably get there off the back of a tactical change, maybe. We did do the change and it resulted in a comfortable win. And then this one, it was kind of comfortable, but then they scored. And then we made a change to just sort of make sure that, to try to shore things up and hold on to that 2-1 lead. But on the whole, a couple of things that needed a little bit of changes to just make sure that things were probably okay. On the whole, though, it's been very dominant performances. Right, let's go to the match. Hopefully get another win. Great chance. Great chance. And it's pretty interesting because it did come in, like, we did set it up intentionally so that we would have our left ALC drift into space and do crosses like that because he does have good crossing. So it's kind of interesting that, we still get that attacking width, basically, even though we have what looks like no attacking width, but we still can create it just through the tactical concepts, I guess you could say, just by putting together logical deductions about roles, players, positions, tactical instructions, etc., to sort of anticipate that can happen, that can and I guess will happen. So we still get attacking width down our left, so down the right on the screen at the moment. That's obviously a very good chance for them there. We need to bear that in mind. Type of chance we do not want to be giving up. That situation probably happens to begin with because the player set to wing back, so he's a little bit encouraged to try to take them on the dribble a bit. And again, another wide down the left wing attacking sort of chance. Possibly that tackle ends up spilling to our guy and something happens, so it wasn't all bad. Our guy is faster than their defender on that side, but not significantly, like a bit faster. I say that because maybe we can consider the possibility of moving him off of the poacher role, possibly. Okay, so he's not much though, to be honest. So yeah, maybe he was against a different guy before, because that time it looked very similar. So yeah, maybe we don't want to move him off of poacher. Right, so I'm going to stop it because I'm not happy with what I'm seeing, to be honest. So I think there's a problem that the game is too congested in the middle of the pitch. We want to try and open it up. Unfortunately, I think our best way to do that is the same tactical change that we've made a few times already. But we know it's a safe one generally to make. It doesn't disrupt generally anything too much. we want the game to basically be like more up and back, so that our strikers and our central defenders are the focal points of the match, and not all these guys in the middle, which is what's happening at the moment. So we're just going to try and make that happen. So I think if we just change these guys to full back, then I think that probably gets us there, because there'll just be 2 less players up in the middle of the map. Like, it'll just make the whole middle less congested, and we'll just... We effectively just almost like, here, you can have the middle, please come through, almost. Please come through, we'll bait you in, win the ball, and then hit you on the counter-attack. That's kind of the thinking here. Now, we have made this pretty late on at the moment, because we are like 41 minutes into the match. So yeah, so this is definitely the match that is the one that we may not win out so far out of all the ones we've played. It's definitely the one that I'm thinking we gotta hope that whatever changes we make are good ones, so that we can win the game. Right, we've got 2 minutes here. We're going to use it, and we're going to think, because this is our remaining pause time from the first half. So we did have a good chance when this guy drifted wide. So I think that roll's okay. I think this guy, like we said, he isn't a speed mismatch on whoever he's on. I think we need to leave him as poacher. We haven't necessarily seen enough to see what impact this is going to make to help open it up, the match a bit more. We could go a deeper defensive line. This is one thing, but that carries its own dangers. We'd be inviting them onto us a lot and nullifying one of our key strengths, which is this guy's speed. But we would be opening it up for the attack a bit, so that is a change that we could consider. We could try change the passing focus to something else, but it's only going to be through the middle, and I don't really have a problem at the moment when it's going wide on the left, and it hasn't really been going wide on the right. And then I think one issue we've got with making any subs for these guys is that they're just bad players compared to most of these starting ones. So I don't think that's an option. So far the main thing I'm seeing that we could change, but it's really risky, is to change the defensive line to deep. And I'm not sure, like, it's the type of change that makes taking that type of risk makes sense if we're losing, but when we're drawing, I'm not sure it's... I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, if you're trying to win all 8 games, then sure. But like that arbitrary goal aside, you're sort of gambling that you might lose, and it doesn't necessarily make sense from that perspective, because we've already just made this other change that we think might help. So it's like, might as well just see what that does. Luckily, our DC steps up for us there. So another thing that I think is problematic potentially here, and I'm not sure that it makes sense to make the change to do something about it, but we are struggling to get the ball up. We are losing it a lot, and we have a lot of stray passes. Like, not passing into space could be a thing, but at the moment I kind of feel like we're ultimately just reliant on this guy just delivering, who's got the ball now. We just need him to make something happen. We've set up our attack for him to shine, and we just need him to shine. And that was the... Oh, great chance. Okay, damn. Great chance. And we have a bit of time pressure now because he's also on 86% condition. He's going to, like, fall off a notch. We just need that to spill through. He's fast. So this is what we need. And hopefully he scores. He does. Okay, great. So basically, all of our changes that were made, those tactical changes, all of the thinking was really to just sort of have that happen effectively. Well, that was really ultimately the goal here. Like, don't have the ball like stuck in the middle. Try to get it up and back. Try to alienate our attackers by not having the wing backs. Like, try to set it all up to basically encourage those passes, encourage those balls, and just maximize the likelihood that that exact situation would happen. Now, obviously, just because that's happened doesn't mean the match is won yet, by the way. But at the moment, it's like, well, we're more defensively stable than before, and we have got the goal. It kind of doesn't make sense to now change. Oh, another decent chance. We do have this guy to come off, so that makes sense. Honestly, I think one thing that could just make sense here is we just sub him off for a central defender. I think possibly he should just be here and he should be central cover. I think it's something like that. We'll keep an eye on things. Because we can just sub off this guy, Valu. Because his Valai, maybe? I'm still not sure how to pronounce this. So we'll just pay attention. That's an option, that's all I'm saying. Oh, nearly. Yep, a decent chance, a good one there. So one problem with having this other DC in the middle there is that we're not that confident that he can't be beaten or make a mistake as well. I'm just going to stop because we got this guy in lower condition, and I'm not sure we can afford to be just making random subs in this one, just for the sakes of it. We do need to think about winning. Another decent chance. I think we can sub him. But the rest, I'm really not sure that we can afford that. And in regards to the tactic, I think it's okay. We're pretty late on here. So... like... all that really matters at this point is we don't concede. You know, we're not likely to concede and score anyway. There's not enough time for that. So scoring an extra one, if that happens, we don't concede one anyway, basically. So we definitely should just be thinking in terms of not conceding a goal at the moment. I think this guy's about to lose his condition, so we will sub him as well. And then, yeah, I'm going to save the 35 seconds here just in case. Like, they immediately score now. And I'm wrong, and there is time for us to still score. Okay. Hopefully, that was enough time elapsed. That'll get us there, I think. Hopefully he just runs on, has a shot, and that's the game. Yeah, okay. So we do win, but how convincing was that? I'll leave that to you to decide. But from my perspective, yeah, just obviously not as convincing as the other matches, the three before it, for sure. Less convincing of all of them, for sure. But having said that, it was interesting still from the perspective that, like, we needed to make tactical changes to get us there in that one. I feel like we got them spot on. I think the problem was maybe we got them too late. At the end of the day, it was a pretty low risk change that we did. And it's the type of change, because it's low risk, that we could have done it earlier if we had worked it out earlier. There's no reason really why we couldn't have made that change basically after they've had that first good chance they made, which was like, I don't know, it was pretty early. It was like within the first 10 minutes. So we had to have realised and thought of that. We could have just made that then. But I don't think it was that obvious at that point, to be honest, that the play was all congesting up in the middle of the pitch. Not sure. I know I started to sort of think about and realise that. Not then. It was much later. So, but yeah, I still feel like we're a bit slow on that change. At the end of the day, we're a bit slow. I don't know how much, whether reasonably we could have done it, realised it, worked it out, and changed it. How much earlier? But certainly earlier. At least 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. And, that could have been the difference here for us, because, we may not have scored that goal, and maybe we just needed an extra 5 minutes or extra 10 minutes. Like, with that change made, maybe would have got us there. Like, at the end of the day, that slowness on that change matters. It could have mattered. On the same note, we did realise it at the end of the day within the first half still. We did make the change. It's not like it potentially that could have ended up dragging, and maybe we didn't notice until 60 or 70 minutes, and maybe by then it really, really was too late. We wouldn't have got the goal. We wouldn't have won. They were also creating some stuff at the start, a couple of dangerous things. Potentially they score as well if we wait on that change. So I do feel like that change really fundamentally changed the nature of how that match was playing out, from something that was very not ideal in regards to us winning the match to something that was much, much stronger, that really did feel like it was tilted heavily in our favour, the match flow, once we made that change. Next match. So yeah, 4 clean sheets in a row now. So that's good. It's interesting because I think the tackle up there was by AM, our central midfielder who's attacking midfield. I noticed from memory one of the other games was a bit surprising that he attempted a few tackles, like 3 or 4 or something. It's quite interesting. I feel like that's probably because we are trying to pin them back, and when we give the ball up, it's kind of in an attacking spot up here quite often, because of that imbalance where we're saying it's down the left a bit more, and this guy drifts wide like this, so there's more situations where the ball ends up... Oh, great long shot. Yeah, so it's just interesting dynamic that I'd have to check the match stats on the whole, but if we were to persevere with this tactic, then the tackling attribute for that central midfielder with the attacking midfielder role might matter a little bit more than we otherwise would have thought. But yeah, I think we're going to look to move over, hopefully by the end of the next season, like our first season in the league, Hopefully we will sort of end up with enough cash, like the resources and stuff, to be able to hopefully get our youth team playing the same tactic as the senior team. That's what we would want long term, for sure. And like hopefully we can get there by then. It's just because we have had odd, like, if we wanted to do it, and the money wasn't an issue, we could have just bought whatever players. We could be probably there already, to be honest. Like, there's been a lot of players come through that would have been probably alright, that were youth, that we could have bought. We just couldn't afford them, and also they arguably didn't make sense versus waiting for the graduates. But you know, if all we wanted to do was play the same tactic, like, we probably could already be there if the money didn't matter. But you know, it does, basically. It does for us now, but the types of money we're talking about are not huge for, like, a team. Like, as you get promoted, you get a lot more sort of financial resources. So it might, if we can't quite get there next season, if we get promoted, we should definitely be able to get there the season after, for sure. So, but yeah, we are looking for some really specific stuff, to be honest, for our players in our senior tactic, especially in our youth players, if we want to develop them come through. Which makes it a bit like, when we're that ridiculously specific, it kind of makes it much harder to buy the players that you need in the transfer market. Like, it's way easier for us to get those players by being able to, like, weed through, like, all of these academy trialists and sort of handpick the ones we want, and then also develop them up and handpick all the training, like, options we want. It's way easier for us to get players we need for our tactic that way. But obviously that's just going to take loads of time. That's the thing. Especially if you're talking about bringing them through to the senior team. You know, you're talking 6 months sort of thing, before they could even start being any real involvement. And then you're talking like 12 months, something like that, for them to be hitting their prime and be like, you know, proper first team players in their prime. So, and yeah, unfortunately for us, we very much expect this series will have finished before then. So it's just about, I think, with the youth, just getting everything set up ideally, how it all should be set up. But but we won't really get to realise see the outcome of having all that set up well, unfortunately. But anyway, let's focus on winning the match, because I haven't really been paying as much attention as I should. I have been paying some, not that great at multitasking, so when my train of thought goes off on something like that, completely unrelated, I'm probably not paying that close attention. I will pay more attention. I think I didn't really see a lot of them creating a lot that I was worried about. We have a huge territory advantage. I kind of feel like the tactic's sort of working. Maybe it does have that issue again, that we're not creating as much as we ideally would. Maybe that's because it's congested in the middle. Let me just try and pay a bit more attention. But yeah, we do have the goal lead, which is kind of makes everything a bit more comfortable. But yeah, a little bit. Let's say I got a little bit too comfortable. Oh, great chance. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a really great example of complacency, and I absolutely deserve to not win this match because of it, and pretty much. It's the type of thing that, like, at this level we may, you know, could end up just getting away with it, sure, but at a higher levels, like, you just cannot expect to be winning consistently, basically, if you are not actually paying attention. That was him again. The one I was saying, the central midfielder with the AMC. He's attempted a couple of tackles there. For whatever reason, he just, you know, the tactic manufactures situations where he's heavily involved in that. All right, we got a knock here. I'm not sure how long ago that happened, but I just noticed it. So we do have an interesting decision to make because... Oh, good chance. Because he's coming off, and so we can either sub on a really slow striker. I think we just do that, because this guy did alright before in the poacher role. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. It doesn't have any real future for the team, but... it's the change that we make that disrupts everything the least. Yeah, it's not good. This isn't good at all. Alright, let me just... I'm going to pause it and hope that we defend that. It's just... the whole situation's just not good. Okay, we got out of it. Alright, so that was just basically because of the wing backs. So let's just change these to fullbacks. And... just change... We're getting pretty close to the end. To be honest, I'm not feeling it. Let's just... I'm going to change the tempo to be balanced. I'm going to change the passing to mix. We'll still do into space. But at this point, I don't think we want to be in a huge rush to lose the ball each time. In particular, because we have that much slower... I brought this other striker on. He's way slower. So he's more likely to help or be involved or score or whatever if we have a little bit more build-up in the play. So that was the reason for that. Combined with just us generally wanting more build-up and more stuff going on and whatever. We want all this sort of thing happening because we want the time to drain a bit faster. I guess this is a bit different to the last match in that I think with how it's going, like, we don't need the goal. We're winning. We have this slower forward who just got this chance. Like, at this point, I guess we just want the game to end up congested in the middle a bit, and for this ball to just be passed around a bit, and just sort of happy for that to sort of just happen and waste a bit of time, have a few half chances, like, just so we can win. Not good. Oh, okay, cool. Right. Defending okay. We have got the bodies back. The right back is a bit tired. I think at this point we are pretty close to the end. Can we do something? This guy's getting pretty low condition. We could sub him for this guy. 54 tackling versus... I mean, it's still huge. Like, this guy is better this tired than the other guy anyway. Yeah, these subs all just feel like they carry risk. I think the main thing is obviously this... feel like we're just leaving it. If winning is the most important thing. 50 seconds. Yeah, okay. I'll leave it just in case they score, so we still have time to shuffle everything around to attack. Right, okay, we're fast enough, hopefully. Giving the ball up. We're generally alright for this sort of passing around in circles to happen. Feels like they've got to score off of this or it's over. Sure, fouling was the best thing. Alright, well, okay. So we're happy generally. Obviously they could have just scored off that if we were a bit unlucky, and you know, then it's a horrible finish or whatever. But at the end of the day, they're not scoring off that shot very often. I feel like on the whole all the decisions were like reasonable. Like, I feel like we made the tactical changes to to craft our way to victory there. So that is the last 2 matches we have needed to earn hard those 1-0 wins. Not too hard, but pretty hard. I think it was more just about, we got the better team or whatever. So just making, I think that's a big part of it. Like, just because you have the better team or whatever, like sometimes, you still need to make the changes to get you over the finish line. If you want to win 10 out of 10 or 19 out of 20 or whatever, like in order to pull that off, you are going to have to make tactical changes during matches to get you there, basically. Otherwise, you just end up, not winning quite that much, basically. You end up not winning these 2 games. You end up drawing one of them or whatever. So, all right, awesome. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you for the next one.